Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhair Agale, Ni Hao, Chile Shimme, Washmale, Ohio, Gazaimis, Guten Morgen, Hola, Boyor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Halashuma Chatore, Alan Vasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning, alongside the very amazing, the very stunning Shiza Ashmi and Shahzad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely open up the windows of hope into other 46 countries as well. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing great and is fabulous. What about you,
Absolutely.
Shiza? How do you feel today?
I feel absolutely great because it's a Monday. Of course, we're coming out of a weekend. I mean, Mondays, again, I always keep saying this. Sometimes Mondays are sad because you are sort of, still hooked up to the spirit of the weekend, right? Relaxing and
Well,
everything.
I think it's different for both of us today, right?
Yes, that's true because we've been working on the weekend too, yes. But other than that, how are you feeling? And you were high-spirited early in the morning.
Well, I feel great as well. I think every morning when I offer my Fajr prayer, there's only one thing which I ask every day, and that is that, Allah, please keep me busy with work and, give me a lot of work to do as well. And I think this is one source of motivation for me, waking up to having work. I think
Right.
it's a great blessing in today's time as well, where we see that a lot of people are jobless. So I think you should actually take out a minute or two to actually thank Allah for all the blessings He's actually bestowed upon you. But other than that, there's this one thing, and that
Okay.
is that so when you have a working weekend, for example, both of us, we had a
Yeah.
working weekend. I was in Multan on Saturday. I had to come back for Sunday. We
Oh,
were
yeah, man, that was
shooting and
so
recording
hectic.
together. So I didn't actually get to know. So I was thinking that, it's Tuesday today,
Yeah.
but no, it's not. It's Monday today, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
because we
Yeah, reality just struck me. But other than that, I think I'm fine, and we want everybody out there to be fine. What about
absolutely.
you?
And think, since you are talking about, gratefulness and being
Yeah.
thankful to the Creator all the time, I mean, even if you don't have a lot to be thankful for, you still should be. I mean, you're having another day, you woke up to another morning, right? I mean, it's still a blessing. But other than that,
Exactly.
I feel like I have a question for you,
Sure,
Shazad.
go ahead.
So today, just to give it a hint, ladies and gentlemen, we're focusing upon staying fit through performing arts
Yeah.
and trying to make that performing arts a part of your life and a part of your cultural heritage as well.
Exactly.
But without giving anything away, my question for you is, so everyone out there knows as well, they've been watching the transformation
Yeah.
too. Let's say probably 6 months now.
Yeah, I
you've
think it's
been
been
you've
6
been
months, yes.
focusing upon working out and then staying fit
Yeah.
a lot, and I feel like that only happens when one finally does fall in love with himself, right? What has the change been ever since you started paying attention to yourself a lot in
Yeah.
terms of your body, in terms of your health and fitness?
Okay, it's a great question. I think that you've done a wonderful job by
Thank you.
asking this question from one of your colleagues, and I think that, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important. It is imperative in nature that you work out or you maintain or you
Right.
probably do something which actually makes you fit as well. So earlier, before hitting the gym, I kind of gained weight and I was at 106 kgs. I'm sorry that I have to
You
say
don't have
that.
to be.
So I look like a fat cookie, though. I mean, this is how I'm going to explain myself to you.
Okay.
So whenever I'll take a selfie, whenever I'm going to take a picture, whenever I'm dressing up. So, there were so many other problems which I thought are having an impact on the way I behave right in front
Okay.
of people.
Okay.
So, and earlier on, I was even going to the gym just because of the injury. I couldn't, so, I
Right.
gained this much weight. So, eventually, when I started going to the gym, initially, it was very hard for me. And I just kept on telling myself, okay, day by day, day by day, day by day, things are going to get better now. But when I dress up, when I feel my muscles,
Yeah.
and I think that I'm more stronger.
You
It
feel
makes
good about yourself
yeah,
as
it
well,
makes me
right?
feel so strong and amazing. That's the best part. And other than that, it's not just the gym as well. I've even been to dancing classes. I've even
Wow.
been going to the yoga classes as well. And
Okay,
I think
hold that
everything
thought.
works.
All
Yes.
right, hold that thought. You said you've been going to dancing
Yeah.
classes, which is absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 29th of April, and Pakistan, along with so many countries in the world, is celebrating International Dance Day.
Exactly.
How amazing
And
is
building
that?
up on that, ladies and gentlemen, this idea was actually generated by International Theatre Institute, and obviously the partners are UNESCO too as well. And it is observed in memory of Jean-Georges Navarra, who actually is the founder of ballet, the modern ballet as
Wow.
well. So this is one thing which we wanted to give away as well for the very first
Right,
time. I think that in Pakistan we are observing this.
Yes.
And we have a small report to share, but we move on to that as well. There's this one more thing which I thought about, and that
Okay.
is, so, wherever, for example, if you're traveling in Pakistan, doesn't really matter which province you're going,
Yeah.
but the way they're going to perform, because it's an art form as well, the way they're going to perform, you'll actually realize that, which province they're representing. And I
Right,
think
that's
this,
true.
that this
It's
is,
so unique to each one
yeah,
of them.
it is. And, speaking about that, whenever we talk about Indus civilization, I think that's where it has been started from as well, because we have to go back in 2500 BC. So, just imagine that. And I think for me, dance is a form of expression. Dance has
Right.
actually helped me lower stress levels. Dance has actually helped me transform my mood into getting better as well. So, there are different things.
So many other
Yes,
things.
and we'll
Absolutely. And
be
since we
talking about that as well.
Absolutely, you're right. And since we are again celebrating dance today, there are some goals that ITI, in collaboration with UNESCO, has set. I mean, everyone is focusing upon, first of all, promoting all forms of arts,
Yeah,
dance being one of them.
exactly.
And then creating awareness of the value of preserving these
Yes,
performing arts, because of
exactly.
course they're part of your heritage and culture. And then promoting, the work of these artists on a broader scale, so they can be a part of the economy of the country as well. I mean, I know we've been talking so much, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing small report for all of you out there. Our team made it, and this is going to have the apt amount of information that you
Exactly.
need early in the morning. So let's
And
take a
thank
look
you
at
very much,
this.
Fahim Bangesh, for the voiceover. You did a great job.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
absolutely.
International Dance Day is a global celebration of dance created by the Dance Committee of the International Theatre Institute, that's ITI, the main partner for the performing arts of UNESCO. The event takes place every year on the 29th of April, the anniversary of the birth of Jean-Georges Noverre. So, speaking of dance, to dance is to be out of yourself more beautifully, more powerfully. It's not just a bodily movement. It's a message. It's a feeling, an expression of emotion. Talking of the types of dance, although there are hundreds of dance types, but let's see a few from the list. Ballet originated in the 15th century, first in Italy and then in France. Over the centuries, ballet has influenced many other styles of dance and has become a fine art form in its own right. Jazz dancing. This style often uses bold, dramatic body movements, including body isolations and contractions. Hip-hop dance. Another descendant of jazz dance, hip-hop emerged from the streets of New York in the 1970s in the city's African-American and Puerto Rican communities at the same time as rap and DJing. Talking about Pakistan, folk dances are still popular in Pakistan and vary according to the region, such as Bhangra, Luddi, Attar, Dhamal. Indeed, the day is a celebration for those who can see the value and importance of the art form that's called dance, wishing a very happy Dance Day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Dance
Happy
Day. And I
Dance Day.
think dance makes everybody feel cool as well,
Yes.
So, there are different dance forms as well. We're going to talk about that. There's ballet, there's hip hop, there's break dance, there's jazz, and then, you can just keep on going. But other than that, Shiza, I've got an interesting question. Let's
Okay.
see, how much are you aware of the culture of Pakistan? So, for different
Okay.
provinces, I've told you that there are different dance forms.
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
name a few of them?
Okay, okay, probably not all of them, but I'll try. I
Go
know
ahead, go
Bhangra.
ahead. Yes.
Everyone knows Bhangra.
Yeah, Bhangra.
And I know Attan. That's
Attan,
it.
yes, that's good as
the
well.
other ones, I mean, I know, I can tell by looking at them. I don't know
Yeah,
their names, and I'm
then,
sorry.
And then there's, yes, sorry, I'll have to cheat, but this is for all those people who are out there as well. So there's Khatak dance as well, which is from the Khatak tribe of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well.
Okay.
There's Jhumar and Gatka. Now, I don't know, I haven't
Okay.
really seen Jhumar and Gatka, but I would love to see Jhumar and Gatka. And then there's Chitrali dance as well. Then there's Ho Jamalo as well. So,
So many of them.
within Pakistan, as we all know, that there are more than 70 languages. So there are more than 10 dance forms as well, which represent the tribes or the culture of those people who live in those specific areas as well.
Absolutely. Shahzad, thank you so much for this information, because we love, educating you in PTV world. So I feel like without further ado, we should be introducing
All
our
right,
guest.
go ahead.
Okay, on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by someone who happens to be a yoga and meditation instructor. She's been telling me ever since we met how we can control our life and attain spirituality just through breathing patterns. So this is none other than Miss Zarmina Zamindar. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for calling me.
Thank
Our
you very
pleasure,
much for joining us.
absolutely.
It's wonderful to have you.
Absolutely. Next to Ms. Zarmina, we have someone who happens to be a cultural activist. She will definitely be speaking about the cultural importance of all the dance forms that we have. She is none other than Ms. Nusrat Zahra. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum Assalam. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much for
Absolutely.
joining us. So let's get the conversation started. How important do you think it is for everybody out there to observe such a day,
Yeah.
where we're talking about dance itself and, talking about particularly, because we'll have to be very careful with words today. And that too, because we're talking about dance, which might not be, well accepted with the religious scholars over here as well. So, how do you express your feelings about this day?
Well, any sort of movement is connected to vibration. We know that, right? So all of us have a vibration when we talk about people and say positive, negative.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you dance, I feel the dance really creates a lot of freedom.
Okay.
Anything that creates freedom and makes you come into the flow is really a part of spirituality. I
Okay.
don't think one can disconnect it from your faith. You shouldn't look at it in the manner that a lot of people look at it that
Okay.
way. It's a freedom of movement and expressing yourself.
Absolutely.
Is a connection to divine. And when you're connected to the divine, I think that really is spirituality, right?
Very rightly said,
and
Ms. Zarmina.
yeah.
And you know, you very rightly said that this is a form of, expressing what you feel, because when you look at writers or even musicians or painters, they are expressing as well. So why not dance as
Exactly.
right?
Why not dance? And,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and anything with movement, like, we teach a breathing movement called sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
And through the rhythms of the breath, which is taking the breath in different movements and
Okay.
different rhythms, you remove every part of stress from each cell of your body.
Wow.
And when we do these things, it's again movement. So everything in the universe is really about movement. So
Absolutely.
dance
Yeah.
is such an important part
Oh,
of it.
okay, so since we're talking about movements over here, now just, sorry, but you'll have to bear with me as well, because I think that this is a very interesting question. It's interesting because, so on everyday basis, we are moving.
Right.
So why do you think that movement does not help transform our mood? Why, for example, when we are doing yoga or when we are meditating, we
I
feel
think that
relaxed?
does a lot, because when you are in practicing yoga
Yeah.
or anything you do with awareness,
Yeah.
you see, even when you're in the gym
Yeah.
or when you're exercising, if your awareness is there, when you're eating food, that is movement with awareness is spirituality.
Yeah.
So you are in that present moment. Normally what happens to our mind is we're always either in the past or
Yeah.
we're in the future, worrying about the future or
Right,
going on,
right.
"Ke isne kya keh diya, usne kya."
Never in the moment.
Never in the moment. So when you're in the moment, that's when you come into your flow. You know,
Yeah.
when artists create great pieces or dancers do amazing dances,
Yeah.
something amazing in the universe is created. It's
Yeah.
always when you're in the present moment and in your flow.
Right.
So I think that even when you're walking, people meditate while they're walking.
Yeah.
If they walk with awareness and awareness in yourself, if you're aware about the way you're acting, what happens the minute you're aware about how you're acting with someone? Imagine you're in you will be kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You'll be careful of the words you use,
Yes.
because you want to not say anything that would hurt the other person's
Absolutely.
feeling. So that in itself, that movement of the body all the time, if you bring awareness into it, you are in a
Wow.
state of spirituality.
Very beautifully
Just
explained. I
listening
love
to
it.
you brings me in a
I-
state of spirit. Yeah.
Same, that is what I was thinking. But Shahzad, Pakistan happens to be so culturally rich. We always, keep saying that. We have one of the, oldest living and dead civilizations as well. And I feel like this was probably last week. I was telling all of you out there as well. In Peshawar, archaeologists came across a working station that is 2,200 years old. I mean, absolutely stunning to hear such news. But, since talking about how to preserve our culture and heritage in form of performing arts, for Pakistan specifically, Ms. Nusrat, why was this important to first of all observe this day and then promote performing arts?
The first thing is that, like you already said, that we belong to Indus cultural,
Yes.
Indus civilization, and the thing that the dancing girl we found there,
Right.
that
Yeah.
is something that is the symbol of expression.
The bronze dancing girl,
the
yes.
bronze dancing girl. So I mean, you are talking about preservation,
Yeah.
and if we got that thing that 2,500 years ago, I mean
Yeah.
BC, we had that type of symbol in our culture, in our heritage. So we have to, that is in our DNA.
Right,
We don't
absolutely,
have to go for that now. We don't have to consciously work for that. I think that
It's
this
been a
is
part of us.
Yeah, it's been part of us. And the second thing is that when you will go about the cultural dances you were talking about,
Yeah.
it's all about the group dances, because Asia is about, when you talk about Asia, we talk about the collective wisdom. We
Yeah.
talk
Right.
about the culture where we belong to Atak, where we talk about Bethak, where we go for the festivals and we enjoy and we talk about what is our collective thought.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Jhumar, you talk about Hojamalo.
Right.
This is
Gatka.
Gatka, yeah. a turn,
A turn.
and all of them, you go in a group.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But these all dances, they tell you when you are individual, then you go in pair.
Yeah.
First, you lose your individuality. You
Okay.
go in pairs.
Okay.
Then
Wow.
you are part of a larger group.
Yeah.
So this is something which we belong to.
Okay.
So I think that, I mean, we have some problems due to you mentioned that, but I think that this is in our personality.
And-
This is our in culture.
Absolutely.
So
And as she said, you know, the vibration groups
Yeah.
create.
Yes,
If you
yes.
see our Juma prayers,
Yeah.
when we go for Juma, there's a lot of us that do it together.
Yeah.
And that creates a very different vibration than to one
Absolutely.
singular person doing it.
Absolutely
yeah,
agree.
and one more thing, then when we are happy, this is the expression of our soul. When we are calm, when we are
Yes,
happy,
absolutely.
when we enjoy ourselves, when we enjoy our weather. It's
Right.
spring, you know, we go for the bhangra.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the religious connotation, then we should tell about the hojamalo. This is the Sufi depiction. We should talk about the sama. We should talk about Rumi.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
Darvesh dance.
The Darvesh is all
dance.
spiritual.
So I mean, zikr. This is not something different from ourselves, our
Exactly.
culture,
Right.
our religion. I mean,
And we
this is the-
definitely want to build up on that too as well. But Shizad, let me tell you, it's a very interesting story. So over here in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we go to a wedding, you know, so weddings are all about dances too as well. You know, it's about synchronization. You know,
Yeah.
everybody needs to match their movements and whatnot. But believe you me or not, I'm a very good dancer.
Okay.
And, you know,
I believe you.
Yeah, I think I've been doing it for the longest period of my life as well. And it gives me joy.
Okay.
It gives me a different feeling. It lets me forget about everything which might probably be in my head, because I'm actually thinking about the next step which I have to do while performing as well. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by somebody very amazing. He's obviously on the call as well. And he's joined us from Karachi. He's none other than Mr. Khanzada Asfandiar. He's a choreographer and a dancer himself from the longest period of time. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Ji?
Absolutely perfect, sir. Thank you very much for taking our time and being a part of our show. But let's get started from here. What do you have to say about today, where we're observing World Dance Day?
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm in Karachi at the moment, and tonight I'll be performing at Karachi Arts Council. And very excited about this because, you know, International Dance Day has to be celebrated everywhere. Actually, you know, I think one has to dance every day just to celebrate life. But especially on such occasions, you know, it's an honor for us artists to perform in different cities. So here I am, the whirling Pashtun from north has come down all the way to Karachi.
Right. So you know Kathak and Bharatnatyam and so many other dances as well. How do you feel like relating, performing arts to spreading peace?
Mhm. Actually, I've been a student of Madam Indu Mithaji, and I learned basic Kathak and Bharatnatyam from her. If you look at dances, you know, may it be folk or may it be classical, may it be mystic, Sufi, dance is dance. I mean, when you dance from your heart, you actually, you know, come to know about your own self, about your own soul. And when you come to know about your own soul, you can reach God as well. So, you know, this is what how I feel, that through dance, you know, you can reach the highest levels of spirituality. And may it be Bharatnatyam, may it be Kathak, may it be Khatak, may it be Afghan Logari, any sort of dance, you know, it actually liberates you.
That's so
I think
beautiful.
that's great. But now I think what we need to do over here is that, you know, whatever forms or types of dances you've been taking names of, not many people are aware of them.
Yeah.
And that too comes down to a point where we actually need to speak about having such institutes where all of these cultural aspects or different art forms are being taught.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you being one of them, I think there's a greater responsibility on your shoulders to think about that, you know, whether you're going to leave behind a legacy, whether people will actually get to know about these art forms or not. So do you think that anything is being done on these lines as well? And do you think that the government needs to be on board for that?
Absolutely, absolutely. But the thing is that, you know, the struggle starts from individuals. You know, I, on my own behalf, with all the supervision of my teacher, Indu Mithaji, she was very generous. And, you know, on the platform of classical dance setup, she allowed me to perform my own tribal Khatak dance. And, you know, through that, I presented a fusion of tribal Khatak dance with elements of Kathak in it. And then I improvised it further, and I presented it in Afghanistan as well, and also in different parts of Pakistan. So we need to improvise and come up with new fusions of dance so that the new generation is actually interested in them, and so that we can develop interest of people who are not familiar with the classical genres of dance. And of course, at the government level, the government needs to do a lot, because all these old ustads, I mean these renowned ustads, they need to be given their proper recognition, and proper institutes need to be created so that this coming generation or this current generation gets some knowledge about dance. We don't have proper academies, we don't have proper structures where people can go and learn dance, or even because all these dancers are just looking for work basically, and there's no funding, there's no proper patronizing from anywhere. So the dancers are facing a lot of problems.
Exactly, but adding on to that, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask, and I've gone through that, and I believe that people working for television or film go through this every day as well. For example, when I started working for television, I used to get asked a lot of times whether, okay, what do you do? So I was like, okay, I host the morning show.
Okay.
And then, so you'll have to follow me over here. So, and then I'll be like, and then they'll go like, oh, so what else do you do? And I was like, yeah, I'm just a morning show host, and I do not really have to do anything else. It pays my bills, and whatever lifestyle I want, I can get that through this as well. So, being a dancer, you yourself being one, don't you think that it gets a little difficult over here within Pakistan to survive as a performing artist?
Definitely, it gets very, very difficult. It's like something next to impossible, in fact, because I'm associated with development sector, and I work for different non-profits, international non-profits, and that's how I survive. I wish dancers did not have, stomachs, so they would have been able to survive only on their dance. But the thing is that we are also like other human beings, and we also need to feed ourselves and others as well. So, but the thing is that from dance, we get nothing. Number one, there are no platforms. Number two, if platforms are there, the dancers are not paid well enough. And the number of functions which take place, the number of celebrations which take place are so limited that, the dancers don't actually get a chance to properly present whatever forms that they have, they want to show. And also, they don't get any reward, monetary reward, which they deserve from those dances. So it's very important that, that the government and the private organizations also consider this, that they do spend a lot of money on food, a lot of money on the ambience, everything else, but the dancers are paid the least.
I think that's wonderful. Whatever you've said, I think it's beautiful as well. But we would like to wrap it up with whatever message you have on this day for everybody who's out there. So please go ahead, speak your heart out.
Right. My message is that my great grandfather Khushal Khan Khattak, he fought for peace, and he fought through his sword and poetry against the tyranny of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. And I, in his 11th generation in 21st century, want to dance for peace and love through my handkerchiefs and anklets. So we should dance for peace and love so that we spread peace everywhere, and everybody just enjoys their life.
Very much for being with us, Khanzada Asfanjar Saab. It was wonderful to be in conversation. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to make sure that you take a closer look at Clapper Dance of Cholistan. Let's do this. Clapper Dance coming your way.
We present to you the Cholistan Clapper Dance, performed by the National Performing Arts Group.
Wow, this was so beautiful to look at, and this was the first time I actually came to know what a clapper dance was, and he is totally in the mood. But you know, since we were on call with Khanzada Sabawehe, who happens to be a Kathak dancer and a pride for Pakistan, he spoke about, you know, how doing all of these performing arts and, you know, dancing can also connect you to the divine, which is so beautiful to first of all listen to and then observe and experience yourself. So, Ms. Zarmina, how can one attain spirituality through this art?
Well, you know,
Wonderful
the spirituality, yeah, it's spirituality is such a personal thing, first of all. For everybody, the journey is very personal, right? And I don't think there's anything that separates us from spirituality. We are constantly in a space. It's only, and I think every human being and every living thing is spiritual already.
Right.
It's just the discovery of it. You need to, again, the word awareness, which we use a lot, comes into it, that the discovery and the journey to come to that place with the connection and feel that connection to the divine, for everybody is different. And people find it through the arts, like you said, and through dance and through music. And again, it creates a vibration. It all has to do with vibration. And how it connects, you see, everybody is one. The whole universe, everything in it is one connection. We are one breath. And finding our way to that connection. And that is why I think most faiths also, and like our guest was saying that, you know, bringing all these people together in groups is so important because the energy it creates. You see, energy, if you study science now, everything's about energy. Everything's about vibration. And when you go into a room, for instance, when you see that everybody's being positive, what an amazing energy there is. The aura of the room. You're talking to people, or somebody, if you, even your own energy is a bit down, and a friend comes and they lift you up with their energy, and then somebody can come into the room who can, you know, bring negative energy. So, you know, managing your energy is very important. Like managing our stress is very important. Every health issue you have today is because of stress, right? All the doctors have said it, and stress is not going away.
It's not. It's
so
here to stay.
You can't say it's going to go away. I'm going to have a hunky-dory everything. But you can manage that stress. And we, for instance, teach it through a method called SKY, which is breath work. And with that, it's like, you know, let me tell you something, give you an example. For instance, you bathe every day. Rose, you know, we take a shower and we get off all the dust and the dirt of the day before. But what do we do for our mind?
That's
What do we do?
important.
It stays there. All the, let me use the word, the trash that we've collected a day before, which is causing us stress, is still there. And how do we empty that? So we must have a method, like we shower every day, to remove that trash.
So can we do a little bit of that too as well? But you call it SKY.
It's called SKY. We can't actually practice it here, but it's a long process. It's a long process in the sense it's a 3-day process, a few hours a day, 3 hours a day. We do workshops of it, and what we do is we cleanse through a rhythmic breathing, again movement, right? Movement which sets you free. We cleanse every cell out of the stress. So first we take out, how can you, for instance, if your canvas is not plain white, how can you create a painting on it, right? You can't paint on a painted painting, right?
Absolutely.
So first you have to remove all the trash that you've accumulated since childhood. So this process in the workshop first removes that through the specialized professional teachers, and then we give you a home routine. So jaise aap subah nahate hain, so just like that, 20 minutes, you go. Every morning, you do that routine and you've removed all the stress and the trash of the previous day.
Now, this type of homework I like.
This is very good.
But that is very beautifully explained, Ms. Zarmina. But we do have a Kathak dance to show to you. But before that, I have a question for Ms. Nusrat over here.
Go ahead.
Shazad, you know, you very rightly said that there is definitely a need for institutions that, you know, teach and preach dancing and all sort of performing arts.
And there was a reason why I was saying this as well. So when I joined my dancing classes, you know, I was... So first of all, you know, for everybody who's actually in television or want to do films or, you know, want to be an actor, I think it is very important for them to acquire all of these skills. You know, you should actually know how to dance, you should actually know how to ride horses, you know, how to operate guns, or, you know, things like these. So you have to be macho in life, you know, this is how it is. So the most unfortunate part was that when I actually joined my dance class, so obviously you want to dance in groups, you know, as Ms. Zahra has actually said as well. You know, it makes you feel wonderful, the room is full of energy, everybody's given out and learning something new. So the most unfortunate part was that I was the only student in that class. You know, not many people showed up as well, you know.
That's
so
sad
which made me feel as if people are not even willing to learn this art
Right.
form as well.
That's
because they do
true.
not know what kind of spirituality, if in that case they might achieve, or what kind of, feeling. There's this adrenaline rush when I talk about dance. For
I
example,
get it,
break
yeah.
dance. I love break dance. I love hip hop. And yes, if I will get an opportunity, I can actually even exhibit right in front of you people.
Wow,
but I
we'd
don't
love
think
to
that I'm
see
going to get that opportunity
No,
anytime
but
soon.
Shazad, we love to
Yes.
see that. And I feel like you very, again, rightly said, because even when we look at Pakistani films and movies, there are, some dance numbers.
Yes.
And then you look at the background dancers, they're first of all very few. And the ones that sometimes we do have are Gore. I'll be very honest. I mean, they're not even sometimes Pakistanis. Whatever issues or, boundaries they have, I'm not sure
No,
of that.
but then you're talking about people who are actually dancing in the background, even
Yeah.
people who are actually dancing in the foreground. They're not dancing it that well as well.
I
For
get it. I
example, when
didn't
we
want-
talk
I
about
just-
people from across the borders,
Yeah.
they've been to different dancing institutes for the last 10 years. A decade, 2 decades, and they've been learning dance. And when they
Right.
dance,
Right.
you're awestruck. You're
Stunning.
like, wow. And then
Absolutely.
half of the time, I even try replicating all of those steps. While I'm practicing, and I think I've become a laughing stock, so that's what it is.
No.
But it's all
Come
right.
on, but I
You gotta
totally-
try.
I'm pretty sure you do amazing at dancing. But Miss Nusrat, the need of the hour, dancing institutes, right? How do you feel about this?
I just want to go a little
Sure.
back. I mean, in the history of Pakistan, in before 1977, we were very progressive. We have dance schools.
Okay.
Maybe because we are some unlucky
Well,
people.
you never
who-
had us then. Yes.
yeah, actually. And after that, what happened? Napa was closed. PIA complex was closed. The other organizations, PNCA, they were offering the dance classes. Our women dancers, the big names, international fames,
Right.
like Nahid Siddiqui, like Indu Mithaji, like Shivma Karmani, they were forced to leave the
Nighat
country.
Chaudhary, yes.
Yeah, Nighat Chaudhary, yeah, of course. Thank you. They were banned on Pakistan television.
Okay.
Their performances were banned, so they had to leave the country. When you change the culture of the dance, the democratic, you suck the energy from the democratic spaces.
okay.
Then how a new generation? We were the unfortunate people who didn't see that going around us.
Right.
Now it's good that we are discussing at least International Dance Day. You are discussing that you are like Asfan Yar told us that Indu Mithaji is teaching the dance from here in Islamabad. I know Nighat Chaudhary is teaching, and Shima Kirmani was teaching in Karachi. So this is in Lahore. I don't know. A lot of people were doing that.
Definitely.
So
But here's the good news.
this is this is good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another thing is that now the new cultural policy is here. We
Right.
have to try for the implementation, and
Right.
we have to talk about the Article 28 of Pakistani Constitution.
Okay.
Yes, which gives us our cultural rights,
Right.
and dance and
Definitely.
freedom of expression and expression of
Wonderful.
ourselves.
Expressions
movement.
of all sorts again.
These
Yes.
are all the expressions. And when the government of Pakistan and we all will strive for the constitution, so no one has the right to say this is not the right thing to do.
No, you're
So-
absolutely right, Ms. Nusrat, but here's the good news. Pakistan television right now takes pride in, showing and showcasing all the amazing
we do
dance
it every day.
performances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. On our channel right now, I feel like we're heading towards one. Let's check this one out and then be back in conversation.
Exactly. And when you guys are going to come back, there's this one thing which I want to ask our guests, and that is that, for example, for a person like me, I'm interested in hip hop, break dance, and whatnot. So we might not connect with all of these dance forms or art forms culturally, but we really need to see people, probably coming up with classes for break dance as well, hip hop as well,
Yeah.
jazz as well, ballet as well.
I'd love to see
and,
that.
And
Yeah.
ballet, ladies and gentlemen, or jazz, talking about them, I think these are the oldest dance forms too as well. Other than our culture, we can even talk about Western culture as well, because dance is dance. We cannot classify with a type. Let's take a look at this amazing performance of Kathak dance, ladies and gentlemen. When you guys are going to come back, we'll get the answer. Let's do it. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small video of Miss Nighat Chaudhary. What a legendary performer she is, and she was performing Kathak dance as well. And to my knowledge, it just came to my knowledge that Kathak dance is actually storytelling. But all my life, I've been thinking that Kathak dance is actually interpreting the beats of dhol into body movements. But I was wrong.
No, but I like that explanation as well.
Yeah, because this is what it was. But other than that, before going towards the video, there was this one thing which I wanted to ask. And I said that, there's so many hundreds and hundreds of different dance art forms as well, which are out there. But there are very few which we can witness over here in Pakistan. And for the newer generations, they're obviously they're Western influenced as well.
Right.
So we want to do hip hop, we want to do break dance, we want to do all these kind of things as well. So, Ms. Zahra, how do you think that we can come down to a point where we get to learn all of these art forms as well? And what do you think that the arts and cultures, people who are actually responsible to look after that are doing over in Pakistan? Because, even now when I get into conversation with people who are actually looking after our arts and crafts and the culture, they just do not want to get out of the box, where they want to talk about new art forms as well. They just stuck to whatever we had 2,500 years ago, so they're still on that page.
The thing is that you are talking about the out of box thinking. They are in comfort zone.
Okay.
They are in comfort zone. They don't want to explore themselves because of the censorship they had been under in 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
And now if we talk about, thank God, it's good time that we are living in a global village.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can't, you can't say that we have to stuck to this thing. I like the Kathak, so I like sitar. So if I will go, I will try to learn sitar. The beat of the tabla I like, but same time, the jazz is
Right.
also important, because it's the music of different world. And now when we are living in this global village, and we can get each and every information in a very, I mean, few
Absolutely,
seconds.
yeah.
So why not learn it? I mean,
And I feel that music and arts and everything does not have borders.
Borders,
There's no
I agree with
borders.
that.
Yeah.
I really agree with that.
So it's countries and all this. This is just one for everybody.
Beautifully said.
You know.
Right.
yeah, the music doesn't have any language, you know.
Language,
So
yeah.
same as with the dance.
Yes.
So you can, I mean, you can learn it. But first you have to give the space to the dance.
That
Yeah.
is so true.
Then you will be able to give the kinds and the types of the dance.
Thank you
Exactly.
so
If you
much
will
for
think
saying
that this is not for us, this is prohibited and this is forbidden, then you won't be able to get anything from us.
Thank
you
This
so
is
much
a
for saying that.
expression. Yeah.
Thank you
you
so
very
much for
much.
saying that. But towards the end, very quickly, Ms. Zamina, a message from all of you, from you to all of the people out there to find the rhythm within themselves.
Yes, to find the rhythm. Well, you know, it's so important to take care of yourself, first of all. I think loving ourselves, when you love yourselves and when you take care of yourself, you create an energy that you pass on to other people.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that for yourself, if you are negative for yourself and your own thoughts, then you can't give that to other people also. That energy communicates. So being kind, for me, I think one of the greatest messages that I would always like to tell people is be kind. You know, smile. Smiling is such a small thing. It doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly.
Smile at everybody you see. You'll see how you know, you affect the energy of another human being just by smiling. And gratitude, like you said earlier. I think gratitude is your gift and your healing.
Yeah.
When you are grateful, wake up in the morning, take a piece of paper, write all the things you're grateful for, and just see how your day goes. Your day will be incredible with that.
Thank you
so
very much for
much.
being
Thank
with
you
us.
so
It was
much.
wonderful to have you. And where you just said that, you know, music has no language. Obviously, I agree to that on a larger scale. But other than
Yes.
that, whenever, you know, I'm driving alongside my friends, so they're like, English गाना लगाओ, Urdu लगाओ, अब तुम बहुत English सुनते हो. So I think they're referring to the language too as well. So music does have language, but it doesn't really matter if
On a
you've
broad
got the rhythm.
perspective, no.
If you've got the rhythm, that's what is important, ladies and gentlemen. But
Absolutely.
towards the end, there's only one request for all those people who are out there. It's your choice whether you want to dance or not. That's not what we are saying, or we're not imposing anything. But
No,
if
it's
you
just a
want
form of
to,
expression.
please make sure that you study about it, you learn it by
Yes.
heart.
You will absolutely love it when you start, you know, finding out the true facts about
Wow.
it and then experiencing it as well. If there's anything you learned
Wow.
from us, please write us
Wow.
on a Facebook page with the name of,
Well, this morning,
on Twitter,
this morning without a G.
Daily Motion in YouTube.
This morning, this morning.
And if you've missed this, it's all right because you can catch the repeat at
5 past 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Environment and lush green natural splendor, Magla Hills are a particular source of pride, harmony and spiritual solace. For the residents of Islamabad, many of whom make it a weekly ritual to scale the various trails to Dominico and Pir Suhala.
Be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces. each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsman. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy